Hello, everyone, and welcome to Plate Stack Chat. And if you happen to be new here, welcome. My name is Jason, or Jason CF Media on Instagram or here on YouTube, so feel free to go and give them a follow. But what I like to do on this show is find some wonderful guests and bring them on for a fun chat. And it is another Grid League special. This time we're meeting some of the Southwest Florida Sharks. So let's get them out now. First, we have a former Division I gymnast from George Washington University who earned 2 conference championship titles and the individual NCAA vault champion title in 2017. I'm not 100% sure what all that means, but I know it's impressive. She also recently took a first place podium at Metcon Rush, if you want some more CrossFit related stats. She moved from coaching at George Washington University to teaching high schoolers, and when she is not doing that, you can watch her putting her impressive gymnastic skills on display in grid races. Please welcome the fabulous Chelsea Raineri.
Yeah, you got it.
Raineri, like Raineri, canary. There we are. Very good. So I told you about the chat. We've already got, I have questions again. We've not even started. We've got questions we've had in intro so far. So that's good. And and Eric Cardona's in the chat. So
of course he is.
Be careful what secrets you choose to reveal during this interview.
I'll be very selective.
Excellent. Now I've got some questions about the gymnastic stuff, but before we get to that, we need to get out our second guest. So despite what former Instagram posts might have led you to believe, my next guest is not Jessie Coleman. However, like Jessie, this is their first year playing for the Sharks, but not their first year in grid, having played for both the Palm Beach Breakers and the Tampa Bay Brigades. And what about CrossFit? Well, their first recorded open was in 2014, meaning over the years, he has been to regionals as an individual and on a team. And on a team, he also made it to semifinals and twice all the way to the CrossFit Games in 2017 and 2021. Jumping on the show with just a day's notice, please welcome the fantastic Roderick Holloway.
The fantastic. Nice. I like it.
Fantastic.
All right, guys.
There you go. Oh, look at this. And just be on your best behavior, guys, because Grid League is in the chat. So, great pronunciation.
Look it up. Just kidding.
Yeah. And we've got Eric here, who is a Roderick fan. Who knew?
What's up,
Who
Eric?
knew? Jake Chapman, I have questions. We await them. We eagerly await them.
You really await.
Wonderful. How is everyone?
I'm doing great.
You're doing great. Yeah. So,
Awesome.
So initially this was supposed to be Jessie. So I think we need to address that first. The other thing we should address is, if you've seen the Instagram story I just put up, I've just got back from doing a WOD. So I had
You're
a
WOD
little bit of
drunk.
time. Sorry?
You're WOD drunk. You're like,
I really am. Yeah. It was tempo front squats and like 2 weights. So it's like 5-3-1 and then a second wave of 5-3-1, kind of trying to increase the weight on the second wave. And it was a 3-second down, 2-second pause, then up, and then a 1-second pause before the next rep. So, it's like 30 seconds to get through your first 5 reps. So it was, and then it was a 10-minute AMRAP of 6 dumbbell snatches. And they were meant to be, so I'm in the UK, so they were meant to be 30 kilos. So if you think 22.5 is usually the RX weight for like the open, so it was meant to be heavier than that. And then it was walking lunges and double unders. So did that.
Seems like a bit much, Jason.
Yeah. Well, usually I would go, I've got a show. There's no, can't do it. Sorry. But I've also got a show tomorrow. So
Got to get it in.
So I had to squeeze it in.
Yeah.
Jake's already calling you out, Jason.
Jake, I'm just letting people know why I might not be on top form tonight. I don't have excuses for all the other shows, but for this one, little excuse. The other issue is that we're meant to have Jessie on. She's called in with a fantastic excuse. So I mean, I don't know if I believe her, but apparently she's like a key witness in a murder trial or something. No, she's got
jury.
She's got jury duty. Yeah.
I was like,
can't leave that. I know this is supposed to be like a nice girly pop, like Girls Rule the World type podcast, but Roderick's a good substitute. So
yes, yeah. I said I said, who's the most like Jessie on the team? And they said Roderick. And I was like, okay, get him on.
Yeah.
So
Perfect.
So that's sorry, Jake. I've taken a few minutes to talk about me. Now it's all about the guests. So, how are you?
Go ahead,
Like
Chelsea.
mentally or physically?
Uh-oh.
I mean, if you have to ask,
I'm just kidding. No, let's see. I'm teaching ninth grade health right now, and we are going through what is wellness. It's like, oh, it's physical and emotional and intellectual and financial. And they're like, what? I was like, yeah, you got to think about all these things. So that's where my brain is. But I'm doing great. Happy to be here. Excited for our next match. Doing 2 in a row at Mr. Olympia. I think our team is super excited, and our group chat is constantly blowing up. I will teach a 90-minute class, and I come back and I have 20 unread notifications just from that chat alone, with endless videos of what everyone's working on and how we can improve, or people saying, hey, beat this. We love that. And there's a good little rivalry, a positive competitive camaraderie in our group chats leading up to this next match. So I think we're all in really good spirits and we're excited about it.
So you're all jumping over the boxes now with the dumbbells. You're like, that's now the new standard.
Yeah. Not everybody can do it like Shappy. So
yeah,
that was mad. That was
very impressive.
Yeah. Yeah, I shared that, and it's amazing because people see the video and they don't read the comments, and so they don't read not the comments, what's the word I'm looking. See, this is the problem. Description. There we go. So they saw that, and then I had a couple of people message back saying, "Oh, this looks dangerous," and I'm like, "Well, everyone else was stepping. Like, this is just one person. It's not that they were making people do this. This is one person who is insane and can do this, and I don't know how, but yeah."
I think there's an element of risk, right? Just like every athlete that goes out onto the field, whether you're in football or gymnastics or in the grid league or CrossFit, every time you step out, there is some element of risk with everything that you do, and you choose to do it in a certain capacity or not. And so, like you said, there's the standard is up and over the box. You can get that however you'd like to. And Shappy was like, well, I'm just going to do this because this is faster for me. And I think that's really a testament to not only him as an athlete, but a testament to assessing risk versus opportunity.
Yeah. Well, I mean, even like we were talking when Eric is in the chat, when Eric was on, we were talking about having like a crash pad under the rings, and like for him, he's like, no, that's like more dangerous for me dropping down onto that than. But someone from the outside looking in is like, oh, they're doing all of this, and like, what if they fall? There's nothing to. Surely it would be safer if we slide a mat underneath. And it's like, no, don't, please, please don't do that. All right.
I'm sure Roderick, he was a gymnast, so I'm sure he can talk to that too.
I would rather have the crash pad. I don't know
would you?
what he's talking about. Maybe it's slower getting down, or he feels like he's going to turn his ankle. I'm used to landing on an 8-incher or a panel mat, so I feel a lot more comfortable if there was that. But I'm also a lot taller than most of the gymnasts, so I can't really have it underneath me, or I'm going to kick it while I'm doing backward roll to support or back up rises or muscle ups or anything. So there is that.
I mean, I wouldn't know about the curse of the tall man. So
how tall are you?
I'm 5'6".
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're not small. You're just not.
I'm not tiny, but I'm not. Yeah. We had this. No, sorry. Yeah, we had this this discussion. I think last show.
Oh, okay.
Someone was asking how tall I was compared to Savan, and so we had to. So we're not going back into that now. But but yeah, it doesn't matter. I'm definitely on the smaller side of the athletes.
That's okay. I'm 4'11".
I call myself athlete.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
Well,
because we were talking about this as well with like the movements and like the like the backflips and stuff like that, the burpee backflips, and obviously being a smaller athlete, you can spin faster. That was a good thing. Jake has asked some interesting questions here. We let him go, and he's really started running on with questions. So
he's posted at least 5.
His first question was, do the athletes and / or United Grid League feel now is the time for them to recruit from the CrossFit elite? I mean, I've just told you that Roderick's been to the games twice. I don't know what you're talking about. CrossFit elite. He's here. He's on the show.
They've always tried to do that. They've always tried to, from the beginning when it was national, when it was the Pro Grid League, was the first thing we tried to do, was get a bunch of the top level CrossFit athletes. I was competing against Elijah Muhammad and Noah Olson. Like, we got big names that we were competing against.
Matt Fraser, Chandler Smith was in the Pro Grid League as well.
Yeah.
When they did the whole event at Madison.
Not a first, Thor's daughter, Annie Thor's daughter, was in it.
I didn't know she'd done it.
So yeah.
So I think you have, you know, if you didn't recently see the signing of Alex Smith to the Venom, I mean, that's a bigger name in CrossFit. You have Griffith Rowell, who was on the demo team and has been very well known in CrossFit, plays for the Atlanta Wild, and we say Atlantic, plays for the Wild, and you have some semi-finalists, some bigger names that are creeping their way into the Grid League. Yeah. So I think there's a lot of opportunity and definitely recruiting happening, but it's also, you know, you have the American Grid League trials where anyone can enter and kind of show their stuff. And then you have people who outsource. Like I didn't do the grid trials. I had Sammy Nally literally hit me up in the DM saying, hey, Sharks need a bodyweight specialist. I think you'd be great. I'm connecting you to my coach. And so that's how I joined the Grid League originally last year. So this is my second year, but I think it's all about the connections and who you know, and then how willing are people to step it up and join into something that might be a little bit of a twist on CrossFit.
Yeah. So you cut the queue is what I'm understanding. You just sort of found a back door in and were like, yeah, great.
Yeah, like, hey, what's up?
I was thinking about the Alex Smith thing the other day, because what I think is really interesting about that is, you know, when it was announced he'd signed, you're like, this shouldn't surprise us, because for how many years was he putting up videos of him doing kind of, you know, all kinds of crazy sort of things on the rings and then onto a barbell and then a backflip and this and that. And it's sort of, and people used to love that. Like within the CrossFit community, they'd watch that and they thought it was fantastic. And he was like, oh, you know, Alex, what a character. So fun. He does all these crazy things. We love it. And there may be the same people that watch, you know, some clips of Grid and are like, oh, what are they doing? These are crazy things they're doing. This isn't CrossFit. Oh, this is, you know, and start complaining. And I'm kind of wondering now, you know, if Alex starts doing it, could that bring some positive view of the things that you guys are doing in Grid and being like, oh, actually, it's really impressive what they do, because you used to like it when he did crazy things on the rings. So why should it be different now that he's doing it, you know, in a Venom shirt than when he was doing it with no shirt? There you go.
And he did play for, back in the day, I think Eric commented too. Thanks, Eric. Shout out. Played for the Boston Iron back when it was the Pro Grid League. So he was in the Grid League previously and now is making a return.
So I don't think it can hurt that he's there. It should definitely help.
Yeah. I mean, with his following and what he posts, and he was saying on his Instagram story, not that I stalk him or anything, but I was listening to his Instagram story and he was saying how he's really going to be there on the team to really do all those body weight movements. And these next 2 matches coming up are very body weight gymnastics heavy. So I think he's really going to help benefit the Venom a lot. And it'll help boast for, you know, the sport of Grid in general.
So body weight movements a lot in Vegas. I mean, that's got to be good for you, Chelsea. You got to be happy to hear that. You know, it's the big stage and you get to shine. That's great.
Well, I think what's cool is we get to shine, right? I think we have a lot of people on our team that we're specialists, right? Everybody there is a specialist, but I think what's cool is that it's almost the song of anything you can do, I can do better. We have someone on our team where you have a person who can do the movement, and then you have a backup, and then you have a backup to the backup, and a backup to the backup to the backup. So I think what's really awesome about us is that we have each other's backs no matter what. So it's like, hey, I plan on doing X, Y, Z. And then the next person comments, hey, well, I got your back in case you need it. And so I think that's what's really special, is that we all really do get a chance to shine where we're great and then pick up where people need it.
Yeah. And I mean, it's one of the things I enjoy watching it is when you see that kind of happen in the moment, that it's like somebody drops down 1 rep early and they, you know, you imagine they were going to finish all the med ball ring muscle ups. And so, you know, Roderick's there at the barbell ready for the next movement. This person's dropped down. Oh no, there's still 1 to go. And the fact that then he has to run and just do this extra movement because otherwise someone's got to get back to the end of the grid to come back to
Well,
do a thing.
crazy. I did a rope climb in the first match, and I came down, and I jumped up and missed and came down. She like got in my face. She was like, "Move, get out of the way!" And I was like, "Okay," and I ran off.
I did that.
And she was like, up the rope. What?
I did that to Nick last time. He missed a jerk or whatever to get the rep. So I like yelled at him, and I was like, "I got it!" So he could get back to the box, and so he could finish his reps because I knew he had to do more burpee box jump overs than I did. So I just finished his last rep, and then we went.
And then you look like a hero as well, which doesn't hurt.
I mean, I flexed after. But.
Yeah. Where are you sitting in the team now then, Roderick? Because I noticed.
I don't know. I feel lost.
You feel lost?
No. So when I first got into the league, I was a gymnastics specialist.
Yeah.
And I can still do all of that stuff, but we have such great gymnastics specialists, such great bodyweight specialists that they're just way faster than I am. I weigh 215 pounds and they weigh, what does G weigh? He weighs like 120 pounds or something, 130. I don't know what he weighs.
Gio?
No, Q. I'm sorry.
Cool.
G.
Q? G?
Hey, depending on how bad your handwriting is, a Q can look like a G. So that's absolutely fine.
Q and David are just like little guys that can move so fast, and they're amazing at what they do.
David's gonna be upset.
What's up?
Is it David's gonna be upset you called him little?
I know he is. He's like, how do I get this big? How do you do that? Like, a lot of Wendy's. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. Well, at least we know what to clip now as a reel and send out. Is that one? He'll be fine. He'll recover.
Actually, I just met the team in Orlando for the first time, and then I was talking to David, and I was like, "How old are you?" And he's like, "I'm 20." I'm like, "20? I'm 17 years older than you, and I'm competing in the same thing." So it's like, it's rough. It's hard to keep up sometimes.
It is interesting when you look across the teams. There is this great range of ages, and you've got these young lads, and then you've got a lot of masters athletes on the teams as well, I've noticed. So I mean, everyone obviously talks about the fact that the teams are a mix of men and women, which is, and the fact that you'll do even like a ringer race, a guy against a girl, and it'll be like, oh, we that's unusual, right? We don't see that kind of thing. But also just the fact that you've got maybe like 10 years on the person that you're going up against as well is also quite impressive.
Yeah,
I mean, David's very scrappy. It's so funny. Last year when he was on the Aces, I became friends with him after one of the matches, and he was talking to me about, oh my God, in this match against you guys, I'm doing the ringer, and it was like chest to bar, double touch, triple touch. For 4 reps. And he's like, oh, I'm so nervous. I don't know who I'm going to go against. And I knew it was me, but I was like, you'll be fine. Like, don't worry about it. And I was like, okay, David, it's me. Like, you're me facing me. It'll be fine. And he was so nervous to go out and do it. And we both had different techniques. And we basically dropped around the same time, but he's so fast. Like, it's disgusting how fast he is. And in my head, you tell yourself like, okay, I got this. I'm going to win. But in the very back of my head, I was like, I just think if David drops to the floor before me, he's going to beat me across the finish line. And it's really cool now. He had said, this is the dream. We get to do Jack and Jill together side by side. And it was cool. I was like, can you throw me up to the rings? He's like, what do you mean? What do you mean? Can I throw you up? I was like, okay, I'm sorry. I just want to make sure, I need you to lift me to the rings for this match. And so we went back and forth, joking, but he's so excited and so ready to do whatever it takes. And we'll go like, hey, Shappy, watch this. And then Shappy rips him apart on movements, even though he's doing a really great job. But it's really fun to we want to win and we have a good time. But we're also very serious about, hey, you're not meeting the standard. This is what you need to fix. And I think that's what makes our team so great, is that we're not afraid to call each other out, but it comes from a level of care and respect for the team.
So your team's quite, you've got a lot of new players this year, right? It feels like from my observations, but again, I'm not an expert yet. I could arguably say maybe I'm the biggest expert in the UK on Grid League. I think that's probably a safe bet. I think it's safe to say that, but
No,
it's
Jake knows a lot.
Yeah,
Jake does know a lot. He's he's my apprentice, I think, on this. So he's but yeah, looking at, I've seen it like a lot of new signings, like Roderick, you're signed fresh this year, right? You're not new to grid, but this is your first year with the Sharks. Am I wrong?
with the Sharks?
Yeah. And then I knew Jessie was, she was on the Breakers last year, I think. So I kind of I'd seen like quite a few had come across. I also have another question, which is a stupid question, but it's unrelated. It's just, obviously you wear green for the Sharks. We've mentioned the Wilds, who were also in green last year. Now this year they decided to change their kit. They're red. Was there a discussion among the Sharks of whether or not they should change the color from green?
Not that I know.
I do not know.
The red looks so awesome, though. When it came out in the red, I was like, damn, that looks sexy. Like, that is, because you think, who was it? The Freaks before were red? I think it was the Freaks. And that looked so good. So when they came out with they started posting all their pictures and watching them compete, I was like, damn, like, they all look so good. I mean, red, everyone looks great, but I thought the red was a really nice touch.
I just curious. Just like, this is an opportunity to change color. Maybe we'll all change color. I don't know. They were the only ones. Everyone else stayed the same color. I just find it interesting. This is where my brain goes. I'm like,
I think also they went from being the Gainesville Wild to the Atlanta. So Gainesville is known for gators, right? So maybe alligator green. They were like Atlanta. I don't know. This is just me making up an example. I don't know.
No, I think you're right. I think I did comment on one of their posts when they first came out with the new uniforms and asked, and I think that was sort of they were like, we've got to be true to to Atlanta or something like that. I was like, okay, well, I'm sitting here in England. I've got a clue what colors are important to you, so I'm just going to pretend that I go, yeah, makes sense. Jake has said that he watched. My mouse isn't working. He says, I watched when you guys launched, then had a break for a few years, and now I'm back because of Jason. So there we go. That's what this is. So, well, Gridley, I've got you one person.
Oh, thanks, Eric. Yeah, the Atlanta Falcons are also red.
There you go. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. They're black and red.
So, Roderick, you were saying how you kind of are lost at the moment on the team. The point was that I'd noticed, unlike previous teams, I think you were the bodyweight specialist. This time, are you a utility player for?
Yeah, I'm more of a utility player this time. I think it's because we have so many people that can do everything. So, and we have really good specialists in the bodyweight area. So I don't have to fill that void. I can, if I need to jump in there, like we talked about, if someone misses a rep or something, I'm able to do that. I did that a couple years ago where I was doing, actually it was, Sydney just posted it, but I was just doing the burpee pullovers.
Oh yeah.
And then our other player, who I don't remember who it was coming out. I think it was Marissa. She was coming out to do burpee backflips, and she wasn't out yet. So I just started doing burpee backflips until she got there. And I'm not as fast as she is, but I can do them. So I get a couple done, and then she could finish.
Yeah.
So like I can do any of that stuff.
I mean, that is, like maybe you get 2 reps in by the time she gets there.
Yeah.
But that's big, right? Like in the grand scheme of things, that's if the other team have waited because they've sent someone back and because that's the kind of the interesting thing with grid is that back and forth quite often of like just having to launch someone to the back of the grid to come, back again to do something. And watching it, we were talking on the last grid episode about the new sort of dual screen that when you're watching on the live stream that you can see both teams at the same time. So you can really see like, they're neck and neck, oh no, that person's gone back. Well, they've and it's not like, okay, you've lost it there, but once you lose 2 reps here, 2 reps there, it becomes very hard to pull those back.
I think that's what our coach has done a really good job at is, finding when we should do those transitions, when that'll work best for us. So we're getting these races done much quicker because we're smoother at it. And we know when to go in and go out, and we know when to be ready. And that helps a ton.
So what do you like doing on the team? And like, if, now that you're this utility player, you can kind of do everything. Are there things coming up that you prefer that you're like, oh, great, this is good for me?
I mean, there's a lot of stuff that I wish I was doing. I mean, I want to do what's best for the team, but I've always been a bodyweight specialist, so I like doing that stuff. I was a gymnast for 13 years and coached it for a long time, so that's what I prefer to do. But I'm also, don't want to toot my own horn, but I'm pretty strong too, so I can move weight also.
What we really needed at that moment was you were like, you know, and I think you left a slight pause for Chelsea to jump in with, but you're really strong as well. And then you could have gone, yeah, it's true. But instead, you did have to toot your own horn, unfortunately.
What'd you say?
I didn't want to steal his thunder.
Oh.
You're so strong. I think that's so cool about you, though, Roderick, because you can do, having a player that can do anything is so great, because we'll be on the side and we're about to start a race, and then Fico comes over and said, hey, like, Roderick, be ready. Like, be ready. Like, you're the person that's going in if something goes wrong. And I think being that clutch performer and being able to do anything is so awesome, because there are people on the team that they're really good at this, and that's their specialty. And if they start to dwindle down on their speed, you have people like Roderick who, you know, he's going to be steady, he's going to get it done, and he's going to be as fast as you can be. I think that's the best part. Sorry, I'm complimenting you. Isn't that nice? I'm saying nice. But
all right,
I think
I'm gonna head out on that note. Thanks.
Yeah. I think it's that she laughs at the end.
Yeah,
it's
right.
like, here's a compliment. And then she starts giggling and you're like, is that
you're
sincere?
like, oh. No, I just laugh all the time. Right?
But a lot of people do think, like, if you were to just look at me, I am a bigger guy. I doesn't look like I would be able to do some of the things that I do, actually. So even in this last match, I was talking to one of my clients who rewatched the match. I haven't rewatched it yet. But they had me in on the handstand walks, and the announcer, the woman announcer, I don't remember her name.
Cassie.
Do you remember? Kelsey, do you know the woman announcer's name?
Cassie.
What is it?
It's Cassie, right?
It's Cassie.
Cassie.
The announcer, or like, so I thought it was Cassie, but I don't know if you have do you have a different, so you know, like, if you're watching like a live stream of a, you know, of like a CrossFit event, you'll have the people that are commentating on the live stream, but the people on the floor, like for people spectating in person, it's maybe a different MC that you can hear kind of in the background. So if you got the same person, I did. There was a new guy.
On the live stream.
Yeah, there was a new guy who I didn't recognize. I hadn't seen before, and then there was Cassie Martinez, who will be on the show tomorrow. So little spoiler.
She's doing a great job, but like she was like, "Wow, that's a really big guy to do handstand walks. Why would they put him in?" But I've been doing it forever, and I can go fast too. So but you just wouldn't know. You haven't been watching it.
Yeah, he can drag a sled, and he can, you know,
I can
stick a med ball on his legs. He's like, this is
well, that was the thing. Like, if Sammy was going,
yes, sorry. So a little bit of so Augustus also mentioned earlier if he should stick around or not, because he's saying he's helping make reels. He's come up with some questions that quite often end up being the catalyst to a clip that has then ended up on Instagram, because he does like to stir the pot a little bit. Last time he was saying about Eric being, when Eric started Grid, he was smaller than he is now, and he struggled with in CrossFit being smaller, and like he's had to work getting stronger, right? And so there was a big discussion about this, but he is asking, so this is, what is Roderick's front squat? I will determine if he is strong.
So this is funny because I'm not brute strong. I can't squat very much. But so my best front squat is 385, but I can clean and jerk 360, and I can clean 370. So like I'm really close to whatever my maxes are, but I'm not brute strong. I just have good technique. My max snatch is 300.
I'm not strong. I'm just amazing.
Yeah. Well, I would imagine that so he's efficient. Well, yeah, you could say efficient. I think that you kind of see that from those that have a gymnastics background. It just seems like you know how to control your body well, so you know how to get into the right positions in a clean, in a snatch, more so than somebody that comes, you know, as a lot of the time someone who is just brute strength, they struggle in position. I mean, the thing I love in CrossFit, like when I talk of CrossFit, like at my box, kind of normal people CrossFit, not elite athletes, but just and we'll be talking about like snatches or cleans and things like that. And the number of people that find it strange that my clean and my snatch is like heavier than my power clean or my power snatch, and they're like, "Oh, you clean more than you can power clean, or you can," and you're like, "Yeah, that's normal. That's the way it's supposed to be." But because they're all just brute strength and bad mobility, they can just sort of get a heavy barbell up. But what's he saying?
Or they're like super explosive, like someone who played in a sport that was more explosive movements.
Yeah,
their power clean might be better than their squat clean because they're just so used to that that like plyometric movement. It really just depends on what where your background has come from too. And I think gymnasts are great because, I mean, all gymnasts.
I'll just stop there. I think gymnasts are great.
Period. But you have to
gymnasts.
body awareness. You know, you have to, if you're on top of the bar and you're doing a pirouette and you're literally 20 feet off the ground, you have to be able to control your body or else you're going to fall and hurt yourself. And so I think that's why a lot of gymnasts do kind of gravitate towards grid or CrossFit, because it's a lot of body awareness, and you already have established that for however long you did it, like 15 plus years of doing all these movements. It just makes you, people are like, "You're cheating, like you did gymnastics." I was like, cheating? You know what I had to go through to get to where I am now?
I hate when people say that.
When people say, I'm like,
"Oh yeah, you're right. I'm sorry I worked out 4 hours a day from when I was 5 years old for 5 to 6 days a week. I cheated."
My Bulgarian coach was like sitting on me to get into a full split and literally hanging on to my ankles while I'm doing pull-ups and hanging from the bar. Like, but that's okay, you know. I'm just cheating.
Yeah, that sounds like cheating to me. So that's fine. Yeah. So Questus said that he's hoping to hit a 400 for a front squat and 3 back squats later today, but Roderick can clean and jerk more than him. So there we go.
He did say he gave you it. He said, "I'll give him strong." So congratulations.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. He's also said that I'm now Jason GL Media, but as I will always tell the CrossFit lawyers, my last name starts with a C. So I've never said it's Jason CrossFit Media. I've always just said it's C. It could be Jason and then my name and then Fitness Media or anything like that. So I don't need to change it. Okay. What's Eric saying? We had a part-time job in the gym at 8 years old.
Well, yeah, because you're in the gym for 30 hours.
Yeah.
I'd go to the gym at 5:30 in the morning until 7:30. Go to school, leave school, and then do practice I leave school early. So I'd literally like miss PE and any elective, leave school at 2:00, and then I train from 2:30 to 6:30, 3 days a week. And then the other 2 days I did just 2 to 6 on Tuesday, Thursday, and then Saturday you're there from 8 to 1. So you're like, that's what you do. Like if you wanted to be at that high level, I mean, I won level 9 Easterns, and then I got invited to the Curly Ranch and decided, do I want to go the Olympic route or do I want to go college gymnastics? And I said, well, I'd rather do college gymnastics. It looks way more fun. And so then level 10, I dropped down. They said, oh, big mistake. You dropped from 30 hours to 25 hours a week. And I was like, oh, those 5 hours are really going to get me. But, you know, I ended up getting a full ride to GW, and I got to live out my dream of being a college gymnast. And it was the best 4 years of my life. I would never take it back. That's why I joined the staff for 5 years, because coaching college gymnastics is literally the fucking best. I mean, you literally
like, I want to be the person hanging on someone's legs.
You're like, I want to. No, you can't do that now.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Yeah, especially now everyone's got a phone, everyone's got a camera all the time. You can't let them know what you were doing. You can't start torturing people the same way you were tortured when you were learning.
There's such a misconception of, and every school is different, and there was and continues to be almost like a cancel culture in gymnastics. Oh, sorry, I said that word. Sorry. I also have I'm a high school PE teacher now, so I have to hold in all of the cursing and then I release it. So that was my one. Sorry.
Yeah, I thought that was what your group chat was for.
That is what the group chat's for. But it's really, I think we do whatever we can we always talk about benefiting the athlete, whether it's having a sports psychologist or having a strength and conditioning program tailored to a specific athlete and having an open door policy. I think what we did at GW was exceptional. I mean, Margie, she was there for, so funny, 39 years. She always said, never end on an even number. And then she retired after 39. We're like, why did you end at 40? And we're like, that's such a Margie thing to do. But she was there for 39 years and built this incredible program of young women student athletes that go on to do amazing things outside of athletics. And I'm so thankful and blessed that I was a part of a program that really pushed you to be the best student and the best athlete. And I don't know how other programs run. I mean, compared to others, like I only have that one experience, but just being able to be a college athlete in any capacity, I think for anyone, just kind of sets you apart from others in life.
Yeah,
Chelsea,
I think
you have amazing shoulders.
Yeah, well, Jake's been very Jake is he's complimented you as well, Roderick, about there we are. Look, Roderick can lift a lot more than me.
But what about my shoulders?
And then he's also said that, you know, Chelsea's insane shoulders, well done.
Take your shirt off. But I think that's true. Like, as a gymnast, you're like, oh, I'm only good at body weight. And then I think last season I had gained like 5 pounds in muscle between the first match and the last match of the year. And Nick Habich was like, dude, like, what are you doing? I was like, I want to be strong. Like, I want to be in the ladder. And then this year, he goes like, okay, Chelsea, so you're in the ladder. And I was like, yes, like I made it. That's amazing.
I want to be a gymnast like Roderick, like, you know, one of those strong ones.
Yeah, like I'm not like tall or big, but I want to be like small and thick.
Yeah. The ladder's great fun. I think people like, you know, Augustus is always asking how much you guys can clean or how much you can deadlift or how much you can front squat. He should just watch the ladder, because then you can get to see pretty much the whole team just running down, and you see them. They've got like 4 barbells. They can choose to try and attempt all of them or to skip some of them. It's fun to watch, and then you'll very quickly be able to assess different people's strengths and weaknesses. I think you'd enjoy that.
I really think our team just doesn't have any holes. Like, maybe we have a hole if someone can't make the match, but we don't have any holes. We have guys and women that can do amazing bodyweight stuff. Some of our women are super strong. Some of our women can do it all. Some of the guys can do everything. We have the men that can do all of the gymnastics. Like, it's really not who's going to do this. It's who's going to do it faster.
Yeah.
Like, we know Chelsea can do it. We know Sammy can do it. We know the other women on the team can do it. It's like, all right, now you guys duke it out, and who's going to go faster? We don't have any problem like, oh, who's going to do this? We're really screwed on this movement. We don't have to worry about any of that. And that's pretty awesome, because I've been on, this is my third, you know, grid league team to be on. And I would say this is definitely the best team I've been on.
Well, I feel like you have to say that as well.
I really don't have to say it.
Well, I mean, I do want to ask some questions about last match, because there was felt like there was a lot of talk before the match between the two teams.
Oh,
and that was
what do you mean?
That was funny to me, because so when I got to Florida, I was like the designated driver as far as like who's going to drive the rental car. So as I'm driving the rental car for like an hour to get to our Airbnb, everyone's blowing up that post, and I have no idea any of it's going on.
All right, because you're the designated driver. You can't look at your phone.
So I get to my phone and I'm just like, holy crap, what? Like, she said that? All right, people need to calm down. Like, I hadn't said anything. I'm the one in it. I'm the one doing it.
You're the one in it, and everyone's like ripping you and going. I think what started from like an outside, I say outside perspective, because, you know, I wasn't, you know, the one commenting back and forth. And I want to say there is definitely a level of respect amongst people in the grid league. And I think what started out as something that was supposed to be like playful, going back and forth, just took like a hard right into something that it shouldn't have. Because at the end of the day, in this league, in this professional league, we want to be professional. Like we want that back and forth camaraderie. I think in every sport, whether it's the NFL or the MLB or the Grid League or CrossFit, you have back and forth camaraderie, but we don't want to make it seem like it's negative or that it's the only thing that's talked about. And I think in the live stream, they even put a link like in the comments, if you were watching live, to the post.
They put a link.
Yeah. And I think for me, it's like, that's like, it's almost like shame on us. Like we should be better, but we love that back and forth banter. I mean, I give crap to Roderick all the time or whoever in the group chat, and that's just something among us. And we do want to
have fun. As we Jake's saying, it seems more fun. And I think that's why, I mean, I think in that situation, like, I mean, that's also one of the things where we're quite critical at times of CrossFit, because it always feels like they're not on the pulse of what's happening. Like, you know, everyone will be talking about something and CrossFit will get to it 2-3 days or weeks later. But like other people within the space will have been talking about it and have made videos about it or be talking about it in the live chat. So I think it's quite good that like there was an awareness that, oh, there's this, something's going on between these two teams, and like, let's address it and let's link to it and let's tell people to kind of, see what's happening there. So I think that was interesting.
I think but then at the end of the day, it needs to come back to like, okay, like we do respect one another. And at the end of every match, we do go and give high fives and we say good game. And that's the sportsmanship where we can go at each other. I think last year someone commented on one of my videos, like, oh, okay, question mark, for like my handstand walk pirouettes. And I was like, well, I'm just going to take that as a compliment. So I just hearted it. I was like, thanks. Like, I appreciate you. And it's hard to tell tone behind text messages or, you know, posts or comments. And I think that's why people feel good to do it. But at the end of the day, like, we do want to have fun and we want to show our personalities. And I think that is a good thing, but also recognizing there is a lot of respect amongst the players in this league.
Yeah. And I don't think anyone doubts it. I just think it's one of the things as well, again, like, and I don't like to always make comparisons to CrossFit because it's not, you know, I love the fact that there is something that it's like, hey, here's a sport that you want to play. Now, if you want to get better at this sport, one of the really good options is go and find your local CrossFit affiliate. And that's probably going to be the best place to train to get good at grit. You don't have to, because maybe you're a strength specialist and you're going to a strongman gym, or maybe, you know, you're a gymnast and you're going, anyway, you're in that gym sort of thing. But the idea that here's a sport that if you want to get better at, go to your local affiliate. I think that's good for CrossFit. That's good for grid. So I don't always like to make these comparisons. But talking of comparisons to CrossFit, one of the things that has often been said was kind of, there was lacking that sort of personality between athletes. And it was a little bit too kind of, you know, there was always that idea, does CrossFit need a villain? And I've always said, I don't think it needs a villain. I don't think we need to hate somebody, but you just want people to have a little bit of personality. And in the last year or so, you're seeing that more, you know, like Dallin Pepper and Jason Hopper, they've got a nice little kind of bit of banter and back and forth that's happening. And Colton Mertens is just destroying everyone, which is fun to watch. But that's what you want. And I think people even here, like just from the few that have even come on this, they're like, oh yeah, you see a lot more of their personality. They sort of are real people a bit more, which I think is good. I can't find the comment, but Augustus did ask if we could quickly explain. Oh, sorry. The PFAA has become the villain. Oh, okay. That's interesting. But Augustus did ask if we could explain quickly the ladder.
Just the ladder.
Yeah, just how that works. Because I mentioned it, but like if you could, one of you two that are, you know, more expert than me, could just explain the concept.
I think he should explain it.
Yeah, Roderick, you're a strong guy, so you explain that.
I mean, it's like just the rules of it. So like guy goes first, girl goes second, guy goes third, girl goes fourth, and then the first bar equals 1 point, the second bar equals 2 points, third bar equals 3 points, fourth bar equals 4 points. It depends on the ladder how long each movement will take. But so what was the last one though?
The last one was a weird one, yeah, because it was like two deadlifts and then
two clean deadlifts to a clean. So you get that done as quickly as possible, because you want the next person to be able to go and get theirs done as quickly as possible, so you can get the whole team that's in the race at the time to finish all of their bars. Because I think Chelsea actually got to a bar last time, but there wasn't any time left, so that bar didn't end up counting.
Yeah. So I got one, but I didn't finish the movement at 0. The second, I hit bar 2 and then bar 3. I hit the bar, but time had run out before it could count. So
you don't want to be walking to the next bar. You want to be running to the next bar. You don't want to go to a bar that, maybe I think I might hit it. No, you might want to run out so the next person can go and they can rack up more points than you would have gotten.
Yeah. So, I mean, if let's just say it's a clean and jerk. Let's keep it very simple. Okay. So the movement is a clean and jerk. And you've got a window. How long is the ladder for something like that?
4.5.
4.5 minutes.
Maybe.
Like okay. So let's say it is. So let's say it's, so you've got, well, it's 4 barbells, but I guess it's 8 barbells because it's 4 for the men, 4 for the women. And you've got 4.5 minutes, and it's 1 point for the first, 2 points for the second, 3 points for the third, 4 points for the fourth, basically, right? Something like that. So if you're strong and quick and you can hit all 4 of those barbells and get off, that's the best thing, right?
It's 4 minutes.
So. Yeah. If you're, you can hit the first 2 and then you're going to really struggle and grind out the next one. As you said, get off quick and let somebody else come through and then hit the bars. Or you can even, if you've not got much time left, you can skip the first 2 bars and just hit the second 2 bars or something like that, right?
Yeah, you can skip, yeah.
So there's a lot of...
So if you go to the first bar, second bar, you make both. You go to the third bar and you miss it, you can still go to the 4th bar. Yeah. You just don't get points for that 3rd bar, but you don't have to run off the grid or anything. No. It is really smart for you got to be kind of be in a grid for a little while to kind of get used to not arguing or not, getting upset with yourself, because you've got to get off of the grid. There's no time for that. You can't miss a rep and then, look at the judge and yell at them. There's no time for that. You just wasted a couple seconds. You can't do that. You can't do that during the ladder, especially. We would have people that would, miss a lift and then they would get frustrated with themselves and then they would just walk off the grid. But at that time, the next person's waiting, go, so we can get going and get more points. So that's another fun part about the ladder.
And you don't want to get faulted, right? So if someone, what was really nice at this match, there was a person at the end of the grid with a green flag up. And so when their flag went down, that meant the next person can run out, meaning the person before you had left the grid. Right. So if you were to go out into the grid before you're allowed to, the horn would blow, would be a fault. Then you have to run back to the start and then go back out. And so you have to have that. So what's next? Quick mistake, whatever, move on. There's very little time between each, not only the movements or depending on whatever race we're in, but then there's minimal time to then have the grid set up for the next race. And so it's very much so a power hour. You can't, it's the past is the past. So what's next? You move forward. You can think about it, cry about it, whatever you want about it later. But what matters now is we put our best foot forward and you keep going. And I think that's what you see in grid is some teams can really recover quickly, and other teams, it might take a race or 2 for them to be okay, what are we doing? We need to get back in the game. And I think we do a really good job of someone might be upset, not understanding why we're faulted on handstand walks, but you get them moving, you get to the next movement. We ask questions later, but we can't fix it in that moment. So you can't worry about it.
Yeah. There's no, I think it's funny again, looking from the outside in. And I think one of the things I always hear is people sort of criticizing the standards in grid. Oh, there's no standards. Oh, there's no, and it's actually if you watch them at a race, no reps and faults are so costly, more costly than in my opinion, more costly than in a CrossFit event. You can get some no reps and you can kind of, that's not the end of the, depending on the workout, I suppose it could be, but generally a couple of no reps, you can still pull it back. But in these races, no reps, maybe you can pull it back. A fault and you have to run back and run forward again. Oh, that's just,
yeah, you saw
it's almost game over.
With with the back squats for the mirror. You had who, I forget who, or what, I think it was the breakers, that they were doing back squats, and in the mirror, if the bar lands on the ground, the whole team, all the guys and girls have to go back to the start and then back out. And in that race, like having a fault or dropping the bar, like is detrimental. Like you almost
the aces
every time.
dropped the bar.
Oh, was it the aces? Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right. That's where we were playing. I couldn't remember, but the bar dropped on the ground. Whereas in sprint relay, you could get like 1 or 2 faults and still stay ahead, depending on how many reps you were ahead. But that's a race where it could go back and forth really easily, because this person can get faulted on this side and this person can get faulted on this side. But the difference between that is in CrossFit is everything in grid is like a chipper. Everything is under that small window threshold, like the same threshold as Fran. Whereas in big CrossFit events, you have events that are, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes. I mean, you do a marathon row. There's more differentiation in finding the fittest of the world, because you want to see, do they have that threshold when they go in from like into that oxidative state, or if they're staying in a different phase. So I think that's what's really cool about grid, is everything is a sprint.
Yeah. Well, because I mean, because it's a sport, because it's not playing by the same rules. It's not trying to find the fittest on earth. It's just trying to find the best team in these races. And like the best team might not even be the fittest team, because if the fittest team are making lots of mistakes, they're going to lose. So it is, there's so many other elements. And I think another thing, like for the people in the chat or the people watching, that we explain like the ladder. So like the ladder will appear every match, but it will be a different, so this time it was a clean and jerk. Next time it would, like the one last time was 2 deadlifts and a hang clean or something like that. So it'll be like the movement might change, but that format will stay. And the same with the mirror that you were talking about. So that was like that's another which again is nice, because you sort of learn, you quite quickly learn the formats. And we were talking about Cassie and the live stream and that. I mean, they do a fantastic job of explaining all the races before they happen. And I really appreciate that. And there's nice graphics and it all comes up. So I think even if you're just tuning in for the first time, you don't get too lost. Like they talk you through, this is what's happening. These are the movements. This is the style of race. This is what they're going to be doing. These are the weights. This is what you can expect to see. And even when there's faults, or like you see maybe the refs discussing something at the end with the coaches, they talk you through what's happening and also the decisions that get made. And as somebody that sort of talks and reports a lot on what happens within CrossFit, and quite often you don't get that, you're like, oh, somebody got a minute knocked off their time, but we don't know why. Like no one's telling us why. Roderick's disappeared.
Oh no.
Sorry.
What?
I'm here.
Blackberry.
My bad.
Oh goodness.
Yeah. Okay.
I was trying to join this chat.
Oh, you want to jump in on the chat there? Okay.
I know. Interesting. They're saying like, what is a fast? So they're talking about how many people in the grid league can run a sub 7 minute mile for a 5K run. Or sub 22.
So I've ran a 5K in 1945, which isn't like crazy fast, but
you're a big dude.
If you're calling it fast, Augustus, I'll take it.
Sub 22 5K for simplicity, is saying. So
yeah, I've ran it in like 1930, 1945.
Yeah, and I'm not great at maths, but I know that.
But I was doing CrossFit at the time. I wasn't doing grid at the time. So
now you'd be even faster.
No, I'd be slower.
Oh, shh, don't say that.
I feel like running is so. We have someone on our team training for like what is she doing? Is Sid doing a Ironman?
Ironman, yeah.
She's doing an Ironman and she's crushing it. I mean, all of the things she's doing is amazing. I'm out there running, like, if I pushed it, I used to run like a sub 6:30 pace mile when that was part of our fitness testing, but I weighed like 105 at the time and definitely have like 30 more pounds.
Yeah. But I think when I tried the ladder, so
right. No, I'm just kidding. But I think it's
you could run fast, but people weren't complimenting you on your shoulders when you were on the live show, were they? So now that's That's the thing you got to think about, isn't it?
Got little short legs, but I think that's a great question. I'd be really interested if they, Grid League, if you're listening, you guys should do a poll and see how many athletes can do that, because I would be interested to know like who can run a sub.
Now I'd probably run it in like a 22 or 23. I don't train it.
It would take me at least 9. I'd run a 9-minute pace. It would take me 27 minutes probably. I'm not even kidding. It would probably. I'm working on it. Maybe less. Maybe like
It's a lot
an 8
more.
minutes.
It's a lot more steps for someone who's 4'11". I get it.
Yeah, just for every one step Roger takes, I take 3, so it's fine.
Yeah.
Maybe they have to make you do like 10 burpee backflips every
There you
kilometer, so that offsets the height difference.
Burpee backflip mile. Maybe we should do. That would be
Yeah. A whole mile of burpee backflips.
Be so dizzy. How many backflips would that be per? Oh my god, I didn't even want to know. That'd be too many.
Yeah, burpee backflip broad jumps. So you can.
We should all run
cover
5K.
the distance.
We should all run. Yeah, there you go.
Hey, why don't you find a 5K route in Vegas, and then you can do like a 5K
At
Vegas
100
run?
degrees.
No, what I'll be doing is running to this donut place I found in Vegas that came up on my Instagram feed. Because when you talk about where you're going, Instagram decides, oh, this is where you're going, and pops up all these things. So there's this really, I don't know what it's called, but I sent in our Sharks chat like, hey,
There
we
we
need to
go.
go get some donuts after this match.
Right. I mean, this chat sounds
Beer
incredible.
mile. I was thinking that too.
Beer mile?
Coke.
Ugh. No, thank
Team
you.
5K done in 100-meter
that'd be
sprint
sick.
intervals. Ooh.
We could do
That would be fun.
sprint down the grid and back, and then it's just a relay.
Yeah.
Like we did with Olipop, like run, smash.
With beer. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
He like, what is that called when you? What
Shotgun.
did he do?
Shotgun.
He shot Olipop.
Yeah.
Would be the grid 5K. Yeah, I think. The chat is coming up with some good ideas on how you could do this.
That'd be fun.
Because you always
Take
have
some-
to, on that final event, you always have to do that like that
4-point touch.
4-point touch thing where you have to go back to it. So basically it's that, but instead of both hands on the floor, you're grabbing a beer or something. I mean, it seems doable, doesn't it?
Gregory, like
Repeat
100
backflip.
years.
And drink the beer, then run back.
Oh no, thank you. Everyone would get so sick. How many people are on a good team? I think, what is it, like 20? I think we have 20 on our team.
Yeah, not all the teams are enough.
Yeah. What's the minimum needed?
I
guess
think, well, it
14.
depends.
I guess
14,
14.
Yeah.
I mean, you had the Palms competing with a very small group the last match. And I think, is it Brylan?
Yeah. Yep. Briley.
She was like, we're doing everything we can with what we have, and they were crushing it. So I think it just, I mean, there are definitely like subbing rules, and you can have like we have one athlete, Jenna Riddle, who will be coming in for one of the matches in it's like a 1-day sign. Is that what she?
I always find that fascinating. Like you'll have someone come out and they're like, they've signed them for a day, and I'm thinking, wow, really? Wow, that's
like one day only, one time.
Yeah.
But I wondered the roster and who can get to what match, and I'll be interested to see who comes out for Vegas. I mean, I think that's really cool that we're going with Mr. Olympia, and we can kind of bring grid more to the West Coast. I know we're trying to add more teams, and I think there is a European grid league, but there are a lot.
There is a European grid league, but I think I want to say maybe Norway. It was based. I've seen some of the stuff, but it's sort of more those sort of regions of Europe, as opposed to being like you kind of. Well, it's not in England. I know that much, but I mean, technically now, let's not talk about Europe and England at the moment. But and then
start the UK league.
Yeah, I mean, that's.
Jan asked if
it's easy
to watch grid. You just
it's super easy to watch grid. Super. I mean, it's on. Okay, couple of things grid do really well is even though the whole day they've got like 4 matches in that day, it will be a separate YouTube feed for each match, so you don't have to like sit there and then go, oh, but actually I wanted to watch the Sharks and they were the second match and now I need to jump forward like 2 hours and try and find where they are. You just pull up that match. So that's very good. And then, as I was saying before each race, there's graphics explaining how the race works, explaining what the weights are, explaining the movements. And then it's got commentary. So they talk you through what's happening. And this year it's got like dual screen, it's like split screen of the two teams. So you're not, that classic thing where it's like, oh, we think this person's going to win, and the camera goes onto them, and then somebody overtakes them at the last minute, and you miss that because they were focusing on the wrong person. So very, very easy to watch. Do Grid League pay well? Who knows? That's look at Roderick. He looks rich.
So I think that's really it. So if you win the championship, obviously you win like the prize money. If you say one thing, we'd like Grid League to improve. Oh gosh.
Is that linked to the pay?
I think there's so many things that Grid League has improved in over the last few years. I mean, the live stream, having the dual screen. This year they added having the points. Like you can see the rep to rep count.
Yeah, there's a beautiful overlay at the bottom of the screen now. Really good.
I mean, if you look at last year's video quality to this year, it's awesome. And like they're trying to bring in new sponsors. They're trying to bring in big things. And I think what's really special, I mean, our coach Fico and Conte, who's the assistant, he's really like our business associate, was like, we are running this like a professional league. We are going to get ourselves sponsors. We're going to have them help us go from place to place. I mean, this year for out-of-staters, we didn't have to pay for housing. So that was taken care of. And that was part of the expenses. So I know we're paying our own way, but you as an individual athlete can get sponsorships from, companies, from your CrossFit gym, from where you work. And you can earn, I think this year, like, last year I didn't earn any. I did like, hey, like support me and here's my page. And I got a decent amount of money from people and I'm so thankful for all of that. But this year I had a few signings, like I'm working with Peachy and Push Up Chalk, and I have both the CrossFit gyms I work at. And I had more to kind of show for it. And I think I earned around $2,100, which is basically going to pay for all my flights for the year. And so I really just have to pay for food. And so it really just depends. I think if we can make the Grid League bigger and maybe have, more of a payout for athletes or something we can do to help those athletes, I think that's one of the big deterrents is you do sometimes have to pay your own way, but everything they're doing is to build this professional league so that we can get more money in. So I think the Grid League's doing a great job in building that. And we also, as players of the league, need to continue to promote ourselves and promote the sport and promote what we're all about.
Yeah. And I think the fact that, like if you're good at CrossFit and you're like, oh, I'm going to go to some events this year, that's my plan. You've got to do qualifiers. You've got to make sure you qualify. Are those events going to be live streamed? Who knows? Obviously the biggest ones will be, but maybe others won't be. So if you're now, talking to somebody that's got a product and you're like, look, I'd like to work with you and I want to promote your things. And you're very limited to, well, I've got my Instagram, I can share stuff on there. And maybe I might make it to this event if I qualify. And yeah, there might be a live stream. And hopefully if I'm, doing well in one of the heats, I might feature on the live stream. Whereas at least with Grid, like, you can say, well, this is the schedule. I've got this many matches pretty much guaranteed. I'm going to be there. So if I have opportunities to talk about your thing and people are there, do you know what I mean? You can market that a lot easier because it's so much more structured. So, and the bigger it is, if you can also pull up, like, okay, yes, I'm going to be at these events, and look, here's the YouTube from last year, and this is how many people have watched it, and this is how many were commenting, and like that's tangible data you can share that can help promote you. So yeah, it works well. Oh, I've been talking and looking at you guys, and now I haven't looked at the comments. And when I turn back, there's like a load of comments. I was saying.
They asked if I'm going to be at Rogue. I won't be at Rogue.
No. Oh, you want to come over to Scotland?
I was kidding.
You want to come over to Scotland?
No. I mean, I would love to. Yeah, I have to get some sponsors.
You've got
Come
yeah. Philip says, is Roderick kipping it real? No. He's not. Grant is.
What is the question?
He's asking if you're keeping it real. That's like
Keeping It
a meme channel on Instagram, but that is a guy called Grant, and
Oh,
you both have a beard. I guess that's maybe the the closest.
keeping it real. Okay.
Yeah.
I gotta look it up.
Graham
is keeping it real.
Roderick, blink twice if you need to say it now.
From Madonna's Holiday. Oh, that's so fun. We should use that. Oh my God. Gotta tell
Okay, that's going in the chat. There we are.
That's happening.
Is this Roderick from Meme for Time? No, it's not.
Be like, Holloway. And we'll clap as you come out.
Oh yeah.
Like the Madonna song.
Celebrate.
Yeah, there you go. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, I mean, Jake is really thinking about this grid thing. Look at this. The UK would potentially be cheaper for travel amongst the league as it's 10,000 times smaller than the US. Everyone get in a bus. We're off to Scunthorpe last one. Yeah. I mean, perfect. And
Okay, bye.
I think he upset Chelsea, but I don't know. Sorry, Jake. I don't know what you said. See,
What did she go do?
See, the chat can be useful from time to time. Yeah. Okay, now's your time. Tell us something, Roderick. You can tell us anything you want about her. She's not here. She won't be able to.
She is.
Oh,
just...
she's.
Go ahead.
What time is it now where you are?
It's 3:43 where I am.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I know she has to leave. So maybe I thought maybe.
Oh, okay.
Oh no, I'm not leaving. I have to leave by 5. We have back to school night, so I get to meet all the parents of my students tonight, which will be really exciting.
Have any of your students seen Grid?
So actually, no, Jake, you wouldn't scare me. I'm not afraid of anything. I have 4 brothers. Don't worry about it. They're transparent. They're kind of blue. My one student came in. So after the first day of school, this is my first year at high school. I taught elementary school last year for the first time, and now I'm teaching high school, sports medicine, health, and physical education. And then I worked with special ed students. So I work in the adapted for PE, which is probably my favorite part of my job so far. And a student came in. I was like, "Good morning. How are you?" And he said, "I'm fine, Chelsea Raineri, Grid League enthusiast." And I said, "Okay, Chris, so you're going to walk out the door and you're going to come back in and you're going to address me." And they call me Miss Rain. So you're going to address me as Miss Rain. And he walks out, he comes back and he's like, "I'm sorry, Miss Rain. I saw it was so cool. Like you do this Grid League stuff and all this stuff." And they're not allowed to have phones in class now. We're in a pilot program. So he's going around showing everyone my Instagram. I'm like sitting there like, oh my God, this is really embarrassing. But then also they're seeing, oh wow, my teacher really cares about her health and her fitness and does some cool stuff. So they asked me today, they're like, "Miss Rain, when are you competing? We need to watch you." And I was running on the track after school yesterday and the freshman football players were like, "Run faster, Chelsea. That's not good enough." Like they're just like on me now, which is not something I anticipated, but I think that's really cool that you can be kind of show the younger generation that you can really keep going and there's nothing you can't do unless you put a ceiling on it yourself. So I think that's cool.
Well, I thought you were going to send your student out and say, "Look, it's not Grid League enthusiast, it's bodyweight specialist. I want my official title." And
I knew to do it. Roderick is my is like my forward partner, you know. Fins up, baby. Figo joins the chat.
Oh, where is he? There he is. Have we said anything bad about him? No, we haven't. We've been really positive, I think, about everyone.
I think we've been very positive. But this person wants to know how old I am. Yes, I look like I'm 22. I'm actually 29. Surprise.
I'm so sorry. You've come on and then people have talked about your shoulders, your eyes. They've asked how old you are. When are we going to talk about Roderick's eyes?
Yeah, what about Robert's eyes? Are they brown?
Okay. This is how Chelsea is on the team. She's like the life of the team. Like she helps. No, it's a compliment. She like helps everybody. She's helped me multiple times. Like, "Are you okay? Do you need anything? I think you should talk to the coach." Like she's helped me a ton. And that normally I just kind of sit back, do what I'm told, and just kind of like do my part. But it has been nice to have Chelsea on the team. I mean, I'm joined her team, but it has been nice. She is really good to everybody, and it makes a huge difference when you know that you have someone that you can go to that easily to be like, I have a question, or she can call your ass out for something, which is nice.
We love
too.
that.
And then
Calling
we just BS back and forth. The whole team does, and we all really get along, and it's been fantastic.
Yeah, I'm not liking the chat at the moment, guys.
No one's taking their shirts off. This is a PG podcast. Other than actually PG-13, because I said the F word only one time, and in PG-13
means people what they want.
Just go to Roderick's Instagram. I'm sure he has videos of him lifting with his shirt off.
Yeah. So even Figo's jumping on this one and saying that Roderick's got to take his shirt off. So
Figo said to take your shirt off too. Do what the coach says. No, I'm just kidding. Don't do what the coach says.
Yeah. I mean, it could set a precedent that then if he comes on, he has to as well. So, there's that to think about.
Kind of like the bucket
apparently
challenge.
they also discussed your beard as well, apparently, Roderick. I missed that. There was some discussion about your beautiful beard. So, that's nice. That's nice.
Good. I like the compliments on my beard. Pay a lot of money to keep this thing groomed.
You're like, I'm just going to keep it going. Also, I think something to point out too, I'm in Virginia. Roderick is in Minnesota.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
And we have a lot of our teammates are oh, that's so funny, Corey. Thank you. We have players from all over. Like we have David's out in California. We have players that are in Florida, in North Carolina, South Carolina, Jersey, Georgia. I think David's the farthest out in Ohio.
Chuckine is in Chicago.
Oh, he's in Chicago. Yeah. So we have players from all over. I think that's what's super awesome about our team too, because we're all distant. We don't ever get to play or practice in person together, but everyone's sending videos, and we work really hard to make sure we're in the best position to be successful for the team, no matter where you are, what time zone you're in. I think that's really cool.
Yeah. I mean, and like we've talked about how much you need to communicate between the team and how important, and how those mistakes can mess you up. So having to do that sort of remotely is not easy. So well done. How is the season going so far? You won your last match, right? I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Yeah,
Did you win the first match? You're 2-0. Yes. So this is and then are you going up against the Lions in Vegas?
Lions against the
Sharks, and you're both 2-0. So
yeah.
So someone's not going to be after that.
I think it'll be fun because both teams are like very well stacked and are in a really great position to succeed. It's all about who can perform the most efficient. It's all about who is the best that day. And I think that's going to be one of the best matches that we have. I think we do that, and then we're against the Palms for the second match. I think.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's
not as much drama there. There's not as much drama on that one. So we're
no, but we love everyone. I mean, like I recently got like I talk to Eric all the time now. I had recently told him, I was like, I was like so afraid of you last year. I'm like, oh my God, that's Eric Codona. He's like so cool, and like he's got like sick glasses. But he's like very intense because that's how you are. Like you're all like bubbly and fun and games. Then right before you hit the grid, you're serious. Like you're like, this is go time. And I think this only being my second year in the league, I've made so many friends on other teams, and I think that just shows how strong our community is. But I think the match is going to be awesome. I'm really excited. It should be really fun.
Oh dear.
Oh dear.
Going down. Is this a new grid league?
Eric and I have been friends since 2015. We both did professional grid league together. So I've known him for a long time. He's always been a great guy. So it's fun to compete against him.
Yeah. Good. Okay.
Cool.
Well, it's so hi is this now a grid league podcast? It's not. But it's and Augustus says it, yes it is. No, it's just as we said earlier, as people in the comments said, it seems more fun, right? To be talking about this. And I think at the moment, it's just been nice to have fun chats about the matches and races that you guys have been doing, and it's a lot less drama than other things. So it's nice to have a little bit of levity and lightness, and grid is that, I think. So but on Sunday I had Brooklyn on, who's at the teen CrossFit games this weekend. So it's still CrossFit there, don't worry. But
I mean, and Chelsea and
I'm not doing a High
CrossFit.
Rocks podcast. No. I mean, Jon's been on, but
I just said Chelsea and I do CrossFit too, and we both. I mean, I've competed at it.
You've been at the games twice.
I've been at the games twice.
Roderick is way more impressive in terms of CrossFit with his, resume. I think that was the coolest when Sammy was like, "Oh, my teammate Roderick is coming to join the team." I mean, they were just at semis this past year, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, Roderick's going to be on our team! Like, that is amazing!" And I remember when he came to the house, I was like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so excited to meet this person." And he's like upstairs in the one area, like watching the Cardinals play baseball. And I was like, "Oh, hi, like I'm Chelsea." And in my head, I'm like, "Oh my God, I'm talking to Roderick," because I've seen like all this stuff over the years. And immediately I was like, "Oh, I like the Yankees." And it was like, "Oh, well, like, screw you." But it was like immediately we had good camaraderie. And I think it's really important to be impressed with the people that you're competing next to as well.
I see. So Eric is intimidating and scary. Roderick is like a super celebrity. The world for Chelsea is an interesting place. That's what I know. Is this a meme for time? This is not. So that's Roderick Lopez. He's actually been on this show twice. So this is a different Roderick. Although I do, I didn't know any. Now I know two. So that is fascinating.
I've never watched One Tree Hill.
What are fringe characters?
Yeah.
What are we talking about? I've never watched One Tree Hill either.
Intimidated by her competition.
Tia? Toomey?
Oh, Tia Toomey?
Yeah.
Like Tia?
No.
Do it. No, I think everyone, I don't look at someone and I'm intimidated. I'm more like, wow, I'm so impressed by this person. I think intimidation is a waste of time, kind of like frustration. It's just, it shouldn't be in your vocabulary. You're either angry or you're sad or you're mad. Like, that's it. There's like being frustrated is just, my coach used to say, like, frustrated is not a thing. Like, you can't do anything when you're frustrated. Like, if you're mad, take action. So don't waste your time kind of being in that liminal space. Similar with intimidation. I don't think I'm intimidated by other people. I'm just impressed by them. And like our teammates, you have Jesse who can handstand walk like a beast and then push press 200 pounds like it's nothing. And I'm like, wow, that's my teammate. That's amazing. I get to compete alongside her. That's how I look at all of my teammates.
Yeah.
Can Roddy
show
his biceps real quick?
My biceps.
That makes me think of, what is it?
I like these had to move the camera.
Here we go. You gotta lift it. Yeah. With the
hold on. How do I do this? Not very big.
It's got the right angles on there as well.
Right. You gotta get the lighting.
Yeah.
Okay.
What is it?
I live in Eagan, Minnesota. Someone was asking.
All right.
Yeah.
So near St. Paul.
No. Of my husband. I don't know who this person is. Oh my goodness. You guys are so funny.
Yeah. Okay. Jason, now take your shirt off. He thinks he's deciding to sort of remove your shirt bit by bit. Get rid of the sleeves.
Roderick, they want to know what your tattoo says.
It says, Vaya con Dios, vengan a mí todos los cansados, preocupados, y les daré el descanso. Matthew 11:28.
Roderick's Venezuelan. If you didn't know.
Pico can say he can tell me if I said it right.
Pico can say and can say.
Yeah.
Spanish.
Oh my God, dude.
Wait, but
Okay,
where
in
in Minnesota are you, Roderick?
What'd you say?
What town in Minnesota are you in?
Eagan. I'm near St. Paul.
Near St. Paul.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, right. Great. Heidi asked earlier about High Rocks, and I joked said it wouldn't be a High Rocks podcast, and then I remembered that actually someone had reached out with some high level High Rocks athletes that maybe would want to come on. So who knows? I'm never say never. They have plates there as well. I figure anyone that trains in a gym, lifts weights, they can come on the show. I'm not, I'm. Somebody also asked your opinion on strong women, and I think that's because there's been some back and forth about comments that were made on other shows about the strong women competition at Rogue. But again, on this show, we actually had one of the strong women that will be competing this year at Rogue on the show. So that was, they're very nice people, very friendly. So hey, this is everything. Why would I pigeonhole myself just to one thing? That's that's the great thing about CrossFit, right? We go across all different sports. So
yeah.
And actually, Jon was on that episode, so I've just remembered. Okay,
very good.
Who is also my High Rocks expert. So there, she had lovely shoulders.
You guys kill me. That's amazing.
Well, at this point, why do we put pigeons? Okay, right. Okay. Don't look at the chat anymore because I've got to bring this thing home. It's almost 10 o'clock.
Oh, wait, PM? Where you are?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. That's like an hour and a half past my bedtime.
Yeah, and mine. Right. So thank you very much, Roderick. You are an absolute hero stepping in at the last minute as well. Also because I found out, what time was it? I think it was about 11 p.m. when I found out, or maybe 12. I can't remember. It was very, very late when Jessie said she couldn't come on. So I just had to be like I said, I'm going to bed.
Yeah.
I'm going to bed. Let me know.
Chelsea, if you can find someone, great. And I'll sort it in the morning. And so here we are. So that was very good. What else I got to say? I'll be back tomorrow at the same time. So whatever time it was for you when we started, that was an hour and 20 minutes ago. It'll be that time again. And we'll be with Cassie that we mentioned, who is one of the commentators and reporters on the grid, and also the commissioner of grid himself. How do I say his name? I always get it wrong. Maffa.
Oh, why do I always think it's Maverick? It's not.
It's not Maverick. No.
I think like Malfoy, and then I'm like, that's not it.
Yeah. It's
Mathers.
There we are.
Is that it? There we go.
Wiswall. Yeah. So
Hi, Jake.
I can finally actually ask him. I'll ask him to his face and then finally get the pronunciation right. Yeah. So they'll be on tomorrow at the same time. And then, believe it or not, I've also got some more grid people coming on next week from another team. So slowly I'm going through all the teams. But of course, Sharks are my favorite. Hold on, has Eric left the chat yet? And the Lions are also my favorite.
The Lions and the Sharks.
Just checking who else is in the chat quickly. Right. Very good. Thank you, everyone. Thank you again, Roderick. Thank you, Chelsea. I'm not looking at the chat anymore. I refuse. And with that, we'll just say goodbye.
All right.